The Boston Bruins won their 61st game of the season thanks to David Pastrnak's 57th goal. They're now 2 wins away from the NHL's all-time record. We're going to talk about that and more on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans and friends, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked Beat. Today is Friday, April 7th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day, free and available wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube. So please do smash that subscribe button so that you never miss a thing. If you are on Twitter, Instagram, you can find the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins. And you can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets, and Super Mario Bros. Reviews on Twitter and Instagram at Ian C. McLaren. Happy Good Friday to all who are celebrating. We just got back from the Mario movie. Outstanding. Our 8-year-old, 20 out of 10. That's his official review. That's 200% on Rotten Tomatoes. You really can't beat that. Last night, the Boston Bruins played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this was David Pastrnak's flu game, his Michael Jordan moment. He came to the rink feeling under the weather with a stomach bug, but it wasn't going to keep him out of the lineup for a late season showdown against their division rivals and potential second round opponents. Head coach Jim Montgomery said, quote, "I can't give him enough credit for how he willed himself to help us tonight. He was not 100%. He was battling a stomach virus, and I give him full credit for helping us win this hockey game." The Boston Bruins found themselves down 1-0 after a Sam Lafferty goal, he being one of Toronto's key additions prior to the trade deadline. Charlie Coyle tied things up, and then midway through overtime, Pastrnak rocketed home his 57th goal of the season off a feed from Dmitry Orlov to give the Bruins a 2-1 victory, their 61st win of the season. Captain Patrice Bergeron said, "David Pastrnak has a knack to find a way to get the big goal and rise up in situations like that." He said, quote, "Tonight he wasn't feeling well, and kudos to him for stepping up like that and battling through. Sometimes just that alone makes a big difference, gives you a lift, and you see a teammate going the extra mile like that to be part of it." Pastrnak credited Patrice Bergeron for setting the example over the years. He said, quote, "We have leaders like Bergie. You learn from them, right? There's not many things that can stop you. Plus, this group is amazing, and I felt like I can still help. The guys did an amazing job, and Orly gave him the beautiful pass, so it was fun and a big day for the win," end quote. The win, like I said, was Boston's 61st of the season. They're one shy of tying the all-time mark for single-season victories. That was set by the 2018-2019 Lightning and the 95-96 Detroit Red Wings. They can tie that as early as tomorrow against the New Jersey Devils, a game that we'll talk about here in a moment. Obviously, the Bruins have goals to get ready for the playoffs. They're not in a fight for a playoff position by any stretch, but even for players, coaches that haven't been in the spot, it's sometimes hard to find motivation for games. Pastrnak admitted this after, but they know about the record, and they're looking for anything to keep them motivated and prepare for the playoffs. So if this does it, great. Keep them fresh and on point. Pasternak's overtime goal was his 4th of the season. He's one shy of matching the NHL record for single season shared by Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Toews, Brad Marchand, and Alex Galchenyuk, of all people. It was also his 11th game-winning goal of the season, tying Leon Draisaitl for the league lead. He now has 10 goals over his last 10 games, 3 shy of posting the 5th 60-goal season in Bruins history. Phil Esposito, the only other player to hit that mark, doing it 4 times in his career, reaching a high of 76 in 1970-71. Might be an unbreakable record there. So Pastrnak stepping up, showing some leadership in this one, and learning from the example set by Patrice Bergeron. We all remember 2013. This guy was playing with a collapsed lung. What else did he have? One arm, 6 toes. He plays through anything. And David Pastrnak has learned from him, from others, from Marshy, from David Krejci, who's like a big brother to him. He loves being a Bruin. Head coach Jim Montgomery said the Spoked Bee means a lot to him. That's why he signed the 8-year extension, and he wants to be a leader here for a long time. The next captain is a discussion for another day. Could be Marchand for a time when Bergeron hangs it up. Long term, though, Charlie McAvoy, David Pastrnak, take your pick. Either one is going to be an ideal choice. We'll take a look at some other news and notes from this game, as well as look ahead to the weekend's action here in a moment. But first, a quick word about today's sponsor, Indeed. Now, when you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could handpick the best stars for your business team as well? If you're building your talent roster, you need Indeed. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. With Indeed, matching as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Boom. It's like hiring at warp speed. They do the hard work for you. All you have to do is sponsor a job post. They'll match you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description right when you post. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Terms and conditions do apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Learn more again at Indeed.com/lockedon. If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Another guy who really stepped up in this win over the Maple Leafs was Charlie Coyle. The Bruins were scoreless through over 50 minutes in this one. Coyle broke through, tying the game with 9:28 remaining, his 14th goal of the season. The sequence began, though, when Brandon Carlo kept the puck in at the right point with a leaping right glove snag. Maybe the Red Sox can sign him up to be their shortstop. He tossed the puck down on the blue line, just keeping it inside the zone, finding Coyle cutting across the top of the circle. Coyle grabbed the puck, took a few strides, opened up for a wrister that beat Ilya Samsonov, with Oscar Steen, who had been recalled for this one, planted in front of Samsonov for the screen. His line mates last night were Frederick and Steen. Both were driving the net, gave Coyle that time, and usually when he shoots, which he doesn't always do first, he's successful. Again, I talked yesterday about the third line likely going to be Taylor Hall, Coyle, and Tyler Bertuzzi, but Charlie Coyle, you can't understate his importance to this team, stepping up in the absence of David Krejci, who was held out for the second straight game due to soreness. Bergeron said, quote, "There's little details of the game that you don't necessarily notice if you only look at the big picture or stats or whatnot. The impact that Coyle has on his line on this team is undeniable, and they're extremely happy to have him. He added, he just keeps getting better, and tonight is one of those things where he gets the opportunity in the slot, takes advantage of it. It was a great play by Brandon, too, for that key pinch, being aggressive at the blue line. Not everyone is going to see it, but if Brando doesn't make that play, then there's no goal. End quote. So a lot of love going around the locker room last night, and deservedly so. Not an easy matchup. The Toronto Maple Leafs, had they held on last night, would have been the only team this season to beat the Bruins twice in regulation. That did not come to fruition. It's a potential second round matchup. The Maple Leafs did clinch home ice advantage in their first round series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But the Bruins, with last night's win, are now 24 points clear of Toronto atop the Atlantic Division. A 121 goal differential compared to plus 48 for Toronto and plus 28 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I should add Florida, the Islanders clinging to their wild card spots at the moment. As it stands, Boston would be playing the Islanders. Both teams are tied with 89 points. Pittsburgh 1 point back with 3 games remaining for each of those 3 teams. So it's going to come right down to the wire. Pittsburgh's the only one out of those 3 with a minus goal differential, so that might work against them. Florida coming in hot. They've won 5 in a row. They'd be matched up with Carolina at the moment. Should add, there was an injury scare in this one as Charlie McAvoy left the game in the second period with an upper body injury after a collision with Bergeron. He did not return, and that caused widespread panic on Bruins Twitter. Thankfully, Jim Montgomery with a positive update after the game. He said they don't believe it's anything serious. They were holding him back for precautionary reasons. Losing McAvoy for any length of time in the postseason wouldn't be catastrophic per se because you still have Lindholm, Orlov, but obviously you want an optimal lineup, and thank goodness to the hockey gods that Charlie McAvoy is indeed healthy. Jeremy Swayman, to finish up last night's recap, he had one of his strongest efforts of the season. He stopped 31 of 32 shots for his 6th victory in a row. He and Ullmark have been unreal all season long. It's going to be Ullmark who'll get that game 1 start, but if for whatever reason he falters, it's amazing to know that Jeremy Swayman can come in and can carry this team. Ullmark still leads the NHL with a .937 save percentage. Alexander Georgiev second at .919. Actually, sorry, that's not correct. Second, NHL.com. Your stats page is just garbage. .937. Philip Gustafson, .932, although in 11 fewer starts. Ilya Sorokin at .924. Jeremy Swayman right there at .921. They're going to win the Jennings Trophy. I know there's a lot of talk on Twitter about Sorokin possibly eclipsing Ullmark for the Vezina Trophy, and there is some merit to that. The Islanders not as good of a team. He's really carrying them to the postseason, but still, Ullmark has just been so much better than anybody else this season. I really think it's his to lose. Coming up after the break, we're going to look at this weekend's action and map out the final 4 games where the Bruins are looking for 2 wins. Should easily get that, if we're being honest. First, a quick word about today's other sponsor, which is the FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and America's #1 sportsbook. It's the perfect time to download it because new customers get a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000 in bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use, and bet on everything from money line to point scores and threes drained. FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every hockey, baseball, basketball, football moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and of Locked On. Empty schedule around the NHL here on Good Friday as they all pause to commemorate this game. All 32 teams will be in action on Saturday. A lot of playoff implications for these ones. The Islanders taking on the Flyers. The Florida Panthers taking on the Capitals. So 2 games in which they could pick up some points and really secure their playoff spots. Pittsburgh taking on Detroit. So a similar situation there. Our Boston Bruins will be hosting the New Jersey Devils at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's an ESPN Plus and an ABC game, possibly a conference finals preview as well. Detroit coming in, having won 2 in a row. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. The Bruins have taken both games of the season series so far, winning 4-3 in December. Actually, both games were in December within the span of a week. 4-3 on the 23rd and then 3-1 on the 28th. Jack Hughes, red hot at the moment. He's got 9 points in his past 5 games. He's looking for his first career 100-point season. One of my favorite non-Bruins to watch. And recently acquired Timo Meier is up there as well with 5 goals over his past 5 games. When I did my third line look around the league, he is being deployed on the third line at the moment. And New Jersey still has something to play for here. They're 1 point back of the Hurricanes for the first seed in the Metro. They're going to want to stay competitive. They're going to want to take that division title. So this could be a game where, they bring it, trying to make a statement against the Boston Bruins. Should be Linus Ullmark in net. Again, that sparkling .937 save percentage, 38-6-1 record. Vitek Vanacek has been very good for New Jersey as well. .910 save percentage, 32-11-4. These aren't the same Devils that I grew up watching with, boring Scott Stevens, Bobby Holik, yada, yada. These guys loaded offensively. They rank 6th, 3.51 goals per game. They're also tight defensively, 7th ranked, 2.71 goals allowed per game. And they've got talent up and down the lineup. I could see this team beating Carolina, to be honest, if everybody stays healthy. Maybe their defense isn't as good as Carolina's. Dougie Hamilton, though, almost a point per game guy for the Devils. So this will be a great matchup on Sunday between the Devils and the Bruins. On Sunday, the Bruins will play again. They're going to travel to Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. I mentioned they will be in action tomorrow, so both teams will be coming off the back-to-back. Flyers well out of the playoff picture. Bruins have won both games in this season series by a combined score of 10-1. And I would expect that there will be some load management in this one. So we could see if Krejci plays on Saturday, then he'll likely be out Sunday. Bergeron might not make the trip. McAvoy might sit it out after getting bumped the other night. So this is one that the Bruins could ice a bit of a depleted lineup in, but one that they should still win nonetheless. Then the Bruins will play the Washington Capitals in their home ice finale. regular season at least, on Tuesday, and then they'll travel to Montreal in what should be probably an AHL lineup taking on the Canadiens. They need 2 wins from these 4 games to get that all-time wins record. They needed 3 in their final 5. Toronto was one I thought they could drop. Getting that one really sets them up to take this record. That's it for today's episode, my friends. A quick and dirty one for you here today. It's a beautiful day outside. Still hyped from that Mario movie. Just great performances from Jack Black, Seth Rogen specifically, Chris Pratt, not as much. But yeah, wanted to get you all caught up on all things black and gold here on Locked On Boston Bruins. Do take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll talk to you again here likely on Monday to recap all the weekend action. If something huge breaks over the weekend, if there's a major injury, whatever, signing Brett Harrison out of the OHL playoffs, might he join Providence soon? Matt Poitra's Guelph Storm still alive. They could be out soon. Keep an eye on all that. If anything breaks, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get notified when there's a breaking news video up there. Have a good one, friends. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me here on Locked On Boston Bruins. And we'll talk to you again soon here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.